Hey everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notify button so you'll know when you're getting new episodes. And we just want to grow this project. I thank you in advance. Without further ado, let's get it rolling. The Shoutouts Show. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. This is me, your humble host, Preacher Monster, host of the SOS The Shoutout Show. Thank you for joining us today. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I appreciate you dropping by. We hope we give you enough content, a little entertainment, a little information that you come back. For those who have been coming and returning, alhamdulillah, man, I appreciate you. I think the word of you, and I hope that this episode, just like all the other episodes, I hope I make it worth your time. A couple shout outs I want to give before we get deep in. I want to give a shout out to my OG big brother, Reginald Kitchen, recovering from some health issues in Washington, D.C. Big brother, we love you. Take care of yourself. Sister Amanda Santiago with the bad back, take care of yourself. Ishrat Siddiqui up in Toronto, feel better, Mom, feel better. We're pulling for you. And if anyone else has any other ailments, I tell you please to send them, and I mean this, send them to the ticker right there, the email permissibleafter@gmail.com, and I will personally make dua for you. Because you know what? Dua makes the world go round. That's number one. Then number two, I would hope that if I was in a situation and it needed help, it needed addressing, that you on my behalf would pray for me and hope that I improve in that situation. I ask people to keep me in there with the walls all the time because you know what? You know, we only deal in the seen world. We don't know what's going on in the unseen world. So you know what? That's why we need that advocacy, if you will. I'm going to shout out my brother. I got to call my brother. I haven't talked to him. I'm going to give him a ring. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is my little brother, JT. For all you people who think, wow, I work so hard, I'm trying to keep up with this young man. He's killing me in the game, people. Killing me. I feel like Ronnie Dangerfield. Killing me in the game. He's killing me in the game, brothers and sisters. But it's a healthy killing me in the game. So today's topic, brothers and sisters, is the ABCs of haters. Let me tell you this. This is the ABCs of haters. And before we get going, let me clarify. Let me put some foundation to this thing. If you think I'm going to be pointing fingers at people, that's not the ABCs of haters. That's actually hating. Even sometimes when you have a justified position, you know what? If it's for the fact that you want to demean that person, I'm sorry, that's hating. If you're giving me information, I can figure out whether it's hating or not. But sometimes, you know, we have to pull back. This is the ABCs of haters. This is an overview, if you will. Sometimes we don't understand the idea when you deal with a hater because we don't understand long game, for lack of a better word. We haven't invested in the fact that a hater has a plan for you when they show up and before they ever met you. This is the nature of haters. The ABCs, if you will, we used to call them ABCs, arrogance, boom, and chaos. That's arrogance, boom, and chaos. Because these are the byproducts. But a wonderful thing that I want everybody to know is, you know what? Don't feel bad about the haters around you. You need to worry about the hater in you. Because all of us have those moments. We have that space of clarity where we're not 100% charitable. We're not 100% compassionate. We're not 100% empathetic. Sometimes we feel like, yo, what's going on here? And you want to address it. Now let's be real. When we're talking about hating, there's different levels of hating. Okay? There's different levels of hating. Like I have people in my circle. I call them haters because they hate the right way. They hate when I'm not on top of my game. They hate when I'm not putting in the work. They hate when I'm not disciplined. They hate when I'm not following through on my word. They hate when I'm not reaching my potential. That's a different kind of hate. The ABCs of the haters I'm about to talk about, Brothers and sisters, for lack of a word, it makes the world go round. You can't have good without bad. And the ABCs of haters is the fact that if you understand the nature of what they do, it can motivate you. Think about this fact. Haters motivated civil rights. Haters motivated the Voting Act. Haters motivated what we're seeing now in terms of social unrest and social justice and all of that. Haters fuel people to free themselves out of bondage. And I'm thinking of this, because there is a purpose. That's the one thing I want to say. There is a purpose for having haters. And that is to give you a mirror of what you don't want to be. When I say give you a mirror of what you don't want to be, it's really, really easy to talk about things in an abstract type of way. Oh, I don't like the way he thinks. Oh, he feels. Very few times you're actually going to have somebody who's going to actually absolutely let you know, right or wrong, how they feel, right or wrong, how they see you, right or wrong, how they interpret whatever you're doing. Now, I thought about a breakdown of haters, and they have characteristics. Hold on a minute. First podcast? No, I don't think so. But thank you, Doug. When we talk about haters, I really, really want people to understand something really important. That haters, despite whatever they do, despite in terms of however they express themselves, it's always going to be customer in the fact that they need an audience. When I say they need an audience, they need human contact. Most haters, for lack of a better word, are really people who are really, really bad at letting folks know I need attention. So most aspects of haters are basically attention-seeking behaviors. I'll give you a prime example. I was a school teacher for quite a number of years. One of my first assignments was in Milwaukee Public Schools. We had a young man who would act up pretty much 8 o'clock in the morning. He would pretty much let it go. And what we didn't understand was his acting up really was based upon the fact that in the breakfast line, in the breakfast time, he didn't get enough food. And it was through these things where we psychoanalyzed this kid and we wrote him off and bad kid, da-da-da-da. I one time came into class, I witnessed him in the cafeteria. He was eating, but I could see that he was still hungry. I pulled him to the side. I said, listen, let me ask you a question. You have to talk to kids in a certain way. You have to talk to them, not that they're adults, but they have the potential to be adults, okay? And let me shout out my sister here. What's going on, big sis? Love you. Talk to you soon. I asked the young man, I said, when you're in the cafeteria, when you're eating, I said, let me ask you the questions. I said, are they giving you enough food to eat? He said, what do you mean? I said, they're going to give you a certain amount of food, but are they giving you enough food to eat? He said, well, I don't understand. I said, are you still hungry when you eat? He said, yes. I said, here's the deal. Instead of coming in the classroom, cutting all that stuff up and making us feel like you're some kind of hater or you don't want to be here, let me know and I'll make sure that you get extra cereal. And you know what will happen? He got the extra cereal. Now, that's not to say he didn't act out here and there, but that aspect of understanding that there's a bottom to everybody's behavior and you have to sit there and understand. We talk about hating, but here's the thing that's really, really important. Even haters are worthy of some type of opportunity to redeem themselves. And I have to say this because we're in this cancel culture now where if somebody does something a group doesn't like and you did it 10, 15 years ago, all of a sudden it's relevant now, we can cancel you. We talked about cancel culture. Cancel culture to me is like cancer culture. I'm saying this about the haters, and I said arrogance, bullshit, and chaos because that's an end product. That's an end product. That's a system or that's a warning sign that lets you know something has broken down in that individual or the system they were part of. Pay close attention. The system that they may have been a part of. We have haters, but we don't even like to. We have haters in our own family. We have haters in our family. But isn't it interesting that you can have a hater in your family, but they still remain family? You know why? Because we take the extra steps. We take the extra process. We develop a space, even though it's maybe as tough as it may be, we still understand that we have to develop a safe space for everybody in our family. And that is the thing I want you to understand. With the ABCs of haters, one of the reasons haters hate and they find other groups of people to hate with is nobody's really provided them a safe space. Nobody's really pulled them to the side. Nobody's talked to the little child inside of them like the way I had to talk to the kid in the cafeteria who reminded me, Mr. Moss, that's my name, Mr. Moss, that I am hungry, that I don't have enough food. So by the time we get there from 8 o'clock to lunchtime, I'm starving. I can't focus on any kind of work. And what did he say? I don't hate the class. I'm hungry. This is not hate. This is hunger. And the idea of the hater is interesting because now we have a matriculation. We have a matriculation. That's one level of hater. I've explained that. Now the other level of hater is what you see sometimes on television. It could be racial groups. It could be all these groups. It could be all these bad politicians. But you know, that group of haters live with the intimate fear that their time is over. They live with the fear that the jig is up. They live like the Wizard of Oz when Toto pulled the curtain and you realize that the Wizard of Oz was just a white man yelling to a megaphone. No knock on white men, but I'm just saying. You've seen the movie. But they live in that fear. So that hate is fear. Somebody said, I got to look it up. They said sometimes hate is fear turned inside out. And I believe that because I've lived long enough. I'm 53 years old. When I say 53 years old, I'm saying I'm an old man. I'm at the point, listen, people, this is how old I am. I looked on my birth certificate and under race, it had colored. That's how old I am. Don't laugh. Some of y'all got colored too. But my point is, I've seen the ebb and flows. And what has happened is, it's easier to be hateful towards people than to be honest with people. It's easier to be hateful towards people than actually be honest with people. And that underscores the ABC of haters. The proliferation of people we call haters is largely enclosed or largely embedded in the fact that people don't value truth anymore. So it's easy to be a hater these days. It's easier to act out, if you will. And I call it acting out. It's easier, listen to the words, it's easier for negative attention-seeking behaviors because that's what people are left with. And when they're left with that, unfortunately, they can't exist anywhere. Being a hater is almost like COVID. It is not able to sustain it like a bacteria. A bacteria is a living thing. You use antibiotics to kill a bacteria, but a virus, if you will, like a hater requires a carrier. Listen to what I'm saying. It requires a carrier. Somebody has to facilitate that action. And that facilitation of that action requires that they, in regards, you've heard me talk about this, that they develop these fake, phony, adhesive relationships. Not cohesive, adhesive. They don't stick with you, they stick to you. I remember watching, I watch a lot of news, whatever, reading paper, and I remember there was a Klan rally that was supposed to happen in the city of Cincinnati, Ohio. They're going to march through the city of Cincinnati. The interesting part was the Klan members were not from Cincinnati. They weren't. They had to travel roughly about 2.5 hours away to have this march. Now, here's what I'm saying. They required a carrier. So they probably only didn't have enough black people in their town or Latinos in their town or brown people, minorities. So they came to a spot where they knew this behavior will get a response. Now that's my next point. Haters require a response. The best thing you can ever have about a hater is you understand and you can predict their behavior. When I say predict behavior, I know this might sound funny or whatever, but I know racists from way back. There was some good racists back in the day. There was some good racists back in the day. There was some bad racists back in the day. Like just like there's some good haters, some bad haters. And I say this, and let me give a shout out. Walaikum assalam rahmatullahi barakatuh, Sister Santiago. We did give you a shout out for your back, okay? And I could put this other word up here. Thank you. But I'm saying this about a hater. And this is something that we should all remember. Haters require an exorbitant amount of energy. When I say exorbitant amount of energy, it means that it can't operate its own energy. It has to take other people's energies. And when we talk about ABCs of haters, they're not, listen to me, they're not self-sustaining. They're not self-sustaining. The worst interview or documentary you can ever watch is a group of haters from different groups. There was a thing on Discovery Channel a couple years back, and they had the skinheads and they had the KKK together, and the whole thing was they were trying to figure out how to have a rally. And the funny part was they hated on each other, and I'm here to tell you, I'm here to watch. I watched it, and I don't mind telling you, I enjoyed watching them hate on one another to the point they were physically trying to fight each other. It was a family show. But let me get to this point because I don't want to lose it. When I'm watching this stuff, everything came out. They argued about being unemployed and people having their jobs. I'm like, dude, I saw one Mexican the whole show. Y'all been out of work a long time. Maybe we can shout it out. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You know you got to come back to the show. Make sure you subscribe. We want to make sure you come back to the show. But here's my point. For everything I said about haters, they're easy to figure out. In the words of Scott, he was a comedian back in the day from Chicago. He used to say, I'll paraphrase, haters are easier than a two-piece puzzle. Haters are easier than Scott Wickman. That was his name. Scott Wickman, funny comedian. He said, I'm paraphrasing, but haters are easier than a two-piece puzzle. You know why? Because one piece is them and the other piece is you. A good hater makes you think that there's multiple pieces. A good hater makes you think that there's multiple levels, and it's not multiple levels. It's not multiple levels. If you ever want to have fun with haters, say the word no. Say the word no and mean it. Say the word no around other haters. Watch the transition happen in the room. Now, I'm not telling anybody to go out and find a group of haters. More times out than not, they'll find you. I'm waiting to get my first hate mail from the Shoutouts show, and I believe it'll come. It'll come. But I think we need to look at a few things as we begin to wind up. When I'm talking about haters, I want you guys to, if you're 15, if you're like 50s, 60s, I want you to shut your mouth. I want you to shut your mouth. I want you to be quiet. And I want you to reach out to somebody who's maybe 70, 75. Somebody who's 70, 75. Somebody like me, not me, but probably has a birth certificate that says Negro or colored on it. But they also have a voter registration card that they had to have. And those people, 70, 75, 80, they'll tell you what real hate is. Real hate, brothers and sisters, is hell. All these people we're talking about now in society, they're amateurs. They're amateurs. The big show, if you will. The big show is when it was legal to hate. When you had a constitutional leverage that you could push on people to make sure that you can constantly visit hate on them. The haters you see these days are devalued, they say the bad, they say the N-word, you're gonna lose your job, you might lose your show. You might people may not buy your product anymore. But here's the other thing I don't want us to miss about haters, brothers and sisters. It's this fact. They don't really have power. They have imagination They have creativity. They use it in the wrong way. But they really don't have power. I remember reading a book by Malcolm Gladwell, and he talked about Dr. Martin Luther King going down to Albany, Georgia, in the hopes of sparking civil unrest. Sparking civil unrest. And for the brevity of the conversation, they failed miserably. They couldn't get a rise out of the sheriff down there. And the sheriff knew what they were trying to do. The sheriff knew that they were trying to get him on record, recorded of showing hateful acts. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't racist or blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I won't even say he was racist. I'm going to say he was intelligent. Because even he, in a position of power, let everyone know, from this position of power, I'm not trying to use it for hateful reasons. So, brothers and sisters, we come to the last part of this. And this is a little tough, but it's honest. I've often said that the concept of oppression, and I got this out of a book called Purification of the Heart, which is about illnesses of the heart. Sheikh Hamza Yusuf translated it. They talked about oppression, but oppression has three things, and you probably have heard this before. Oppression has three things: arrogance, envy, and iniquity. Let me say it again: arrogance, envy, and iniquity. Now, under the ABCs of arrogance, BS, and chaos, arrogance is interesting because arrogance carries envy and iniquity. So I have to give you the I and the E. I just gave you the A. And I'm saying this because that arrogance, envy, and iniquity, for lack of a better word, they don't have any color on it. It's not about your money. It's not about your political position, how smart you are. It's about potential. And everyone here, I want everyone to know, we all have the potential to be haters. We do. It's natural to look at somebody and go, that's nice, I wish I had it. It's natural to go, man, how did that person get that over there and I don't have it and we work just as hard? You know, I learned in religion that you have to respect your station. That in life, people are going to be promoted or they're going to be blessed in certain ways. And the mind of a believer is that you have to advocate for them, not only to be blessed that way, but to be continually blessed that way. You have to be a cheerleader for these people. Let me give a shout out. Yes, it was a classic book. Sister Salim, give mom and pops my love too. I miss them. I haven't seen them in a minute. Tell your daddy to call me. To check in. She hasn't checked on me in a while. But we, as thinking people, as critical thinkers, when we have those feelings, we don't give into them. And it needs to be also that, yes, we have to learn the space not to give into those feelings. So I'm going to ask everybody two things. Number one, when you see a hater, don't disparage them. Don't disparage them. Understand that they're going through something. Now, I'm not saying jump into what they're going through, but understand that there's levels to it. And number two, understand that that's a mirror. That's not who you want to be. That's not who we want them to be either, but that's not who you want to be. And sometimes we have to make the decision to distance or engage. That's up to you. That's between you and your conscience, however you want to do it. But I'm also going to say this. It's a reminder that as wonderful people we think we are in our lives and our careers, there's still that potential. And for me, whenever I see a hater or engage with a hater, I don't really even see the hate. I see the potential to hate. I see the potential to overlook a blessing. I see the potential to say, hey, listen, I'm the one who did this. I see the potential to be arrogant. I see the potential to be full of BS. And I see the potential for chaos. And when you see those things, when you see them, there's a space for you to step back. And you do one or two things. You're either going to run or you're going to break it down and you're going to be like me with that kid in the lunchroom who was a hellion in class until I did a little investigation, found out he wasn't a hellion, he was hungry. And unfortunately, one bowl of cereal didn't hold him. We had to give him another bowl of cereal. And that's not to say that his behavior, his attention-seeking behaviors in class went away, but I had a little bit more clarity into what he was dealing with. So, brothers and sisters, I gotta get out of here. You've been great. I hope you enjoyed this. We're gonna be doing some special things because I believe that the shout out show, after 100 some shows, 107, 108 shows, we really want to get out into the community. So I have a really big project that I'm going to be introducing. I need all of your help, all your support, all your prayers. We're trying to do something special, and I'll talk about it. But there's some people we haven't been talking about all through this COVID situation, all through George Floyd, and there are brothers who are incarcerated, our brothers and sisters who are incarcerated. So I have a program I want to gradually reveal to you, but I'm asking for your help and your prayers up front before we do the big reveal. All right. So listen, I'm going to get out of here. Like I said, I ask everybody to please keep all of us in good spirits and prayers, and I hope to see you soon. Enjoy our message. Appreciate you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hey everybody, this is your brother Preacher Moss. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your shout out show experience. We'll be back with the next show, the next shout out show. Simple ask before you go, please help your brother out. Click that subscribe button, click that notify button, and I'll see you again on this side of the microphone. You probably wonder what that smell is. That's me. I smell good. And the reason I smell good is because I use oils from Tarifa Tar. So I'm not saying you can't smell good. I'm not even saying you stink. I'm saying you have the opportunity to smell exquisite. Check out tarifatar.com for some of the best oils and scents in town.